Okay, here we are back in the office. How about a little update on the OfficeRig here? I mentioned that I was going to do either the WP200 build or a WP100 with two pedestals. Well, as you probably could have guessed, I went ahead and went the cheaper route and added another pedestal on top of the WP100 build. But once I constructed the frame of the upper pedestal, I realized I wanted to not have to mod my main chassis. But you can see that the pedestal doesn't sit flush because of the upper fan bracket, and you're not able to use a fan bracket between the pedestals. But I wanted to, so you can see with the gap that it leaves because there's interference. And so what do you do when you have situations like this? Well, you simply go out to your garage and break your tools out. So I borrowed the plasma cutter and went ahead and notched out, made a couple nice clean lines, notching out front and back to make sure that the upper bracket on the main chassis could be used, and I didn't have to mod my main PC and extend water lines and the radiators and everything up. And I was still able, I like the idea of putting that 200 millimeter fan right in the front. That's a good intake fan blowing right across that drive chassis and the pedestals, and I used that on the upper one as well. And now you can see it sits flush without the floor, and it will actually not interfere with anything. So the notches work perfect. The case is bolted together. I've got intake on the back and exhaust across the top. So the main chassis exhausts into the pedestal, and another 440 millimeter fans intake on the back and exhaust out the top. And we have good airflow. And overall, I think I'm going to be happy and content with that. Although I probably, as I mentioned before, I should have gone the WP200 route and maybe added a second pedestal on top for that. But what am I using all this space for? So I've got the NAS build. I'm trying to build a TrueNAS system. You can see over in the corner, I've got a small QNAP white 2-disc drive that's currently being used to stream movies and do the occasional backup. But that's primarily the movies for all the kids and the family. But I'm trying to do a TrueNAS build, move Plex to it, and I increase storage. It's running, and I'm trying to figure out how to navigate TrueNAS. I'll be honest, it's been very, very frustrating. This is an i9-14900K ITX motherboard, power supply build, 4 16 terabyte drives in dual mirrored configuration. This would be a sufficient NAS for the family and the business for many years. It's well cooled, liquid cooled. Would love for this to work, but my frustrations with TrueNAS, I don't know if I just need to try a different software. I go Unraid, something. All I've got on this thing are some SMB shares, which work, and Plex, which doesn't work. I've changed permissions. I've gone to POSIX permissions, uninstalled, reinstalled Plex, went to forums and asking for people's help, and they're walking me through, and I'm giving screenshots of everything, and to still can't get the darn thing to work right. But we'll see what we go from there. I mean, but that's what that whole lower pedestal is my NAS system. And then on top, there's all the things that I don't want, showing on my usual case. There's hot swappable 3.5 bay, hot swappable 2.5 bay. There's 2 more racks. I'm going to put at least one 24 terabyte drive in one of the racks. If I need to expand to another hot swappable bay in the future and maybe try to expand the NAS system on bottom with extended, so that some of the drive storage is on top, then use those 2 bays for 6 drives instead of 4. That leaves me the opportunity. I've got a CD-ROM drive and a media card reader all those things that you really want your system to do from time to time, but don't use all the time. That's sort of what I've put in the top, and there's plenty of room for expansion for drives and everything else. So I think this, I hate to say it, may conclude the OfficeRig build. I really couldn't be happier with the way it's running. Like that, this OfficeRig is the delidded 14900KS, water-cooled RAM, water-cooled SSDs, water-cooled 5090, a gigabyte WinForce OC. Card runs great. I mean, I just was scrubbing and working through a video that I was going to upload onto YouTube and finish the 12 gig file. And my GPU temp never went over 40.5 degrees. And the CPU never went over 55 with all of the working for several hours nonstop. I can't be any more impressed nor satisfied with a build. It just runs and runs great. The radiators are in push-pull, plenty of fluid. I mean, there's nothing to complain about here other than my cable management, and that's on me. That's not the system's fault. So you can see I've got some cable management issues, but hey, we're working through that. It's very utilitarian. I would love to be able to promote this case, but as you know, these are end-of-life cases. I would have affiliate links. I would try to promote this, but all this is end of life, and I can't do it. So maybe if you like this type of setup, Thermaltake has an AX line that maybe you might want to get into. I'll leave links to that with their case and pedestals. But otherwise, they don't offer a twin system anymore like the WP200. But this is the WPP100. I guess I got two pedestals now, right? But anyway, I don't want to move. I don't want to drag this out. I'd like to say that I'm excited about TrueNAS, but it's been very frustrating. I don't know if it's going to stay TrueNAS or going to move to an Unraid, or if I'm just going to put it out in the driveway and run it over with my truck. But that's my level of frustration with just to get TrueNAS and Plex to work. Not happy with it, but other people seem to be able to get it to work. I'm not sure why it's not working well for me. Nonetheless, onward and upward, and I'll give some updates as I make some progress here in the office or with the testing that we're actively doing. Stay safe. God bless.